Wildlife trafficking is now one of the most prominent of transnational organized crimes across the world, and it's right up there along with drugs, human trafficking, arms trafficking, in terms of an annual value to the criminals. Wildlife traffickers exploit global transportation networks, they threaten human health and security, and they're driving some species to extinction. The high profits and low risk associated with trafficking through airports have attracted the attention of sophisticated criminal networks who find a way to exploit existing security systems. Enforcement loopholes, lack of awareness, limited coordination between airlines, law enforcement authorities, capacity gaps, lagging technology, all of these factors come together to make airline transport vulnerable to crime. Now, the United States has been a close partner with Kenya in the fight against poaching and trafficking, and is committed to supporting efforts to combat them to ensure sustainable conservation of wildlife here and around the world. Now, in 2016, the United States government passed the Eliminate, Neutralize, Disrupt, End Wildlife Trafficking Act, which supports U.S. engagement on ending wildlife trafficking overseas. The United States has Kenya has strong domestic laws and regulations that will support the implementation of the END Act, and we look forward to our continued cooperation in this important area. The U.S. government's efforts to end wildlife trafficking include activities to analyze trafficking routes, increase law enforcement capacity, engage the private sector, and reduce consumer demand for illegal wildlife products. And one example of the U.S. government's commitment in this effort is the public-private partnership, reducing opportunities for unlawful transport of endangered species or routes. Since its start in 2016, this program has produced a range of training resources for transport sector companies on wildlife trafficking. And Roots partners are working with the International Air Transport Association, IATA, airline companies such as Kenya Airways to raise awareness of the problem, to identify how airlines and airport personnel can report or prevent wildlife crime. We know that partnering with the private sector is critical to addressing wildlife crime. And I'm pleased to say that Kenya Airways, Sebastian, thank you, it's a company that joined and engaged Roots right from the very beginning. Last year, we strengthened our relationship with Kenya Airways at an industry roundtable on hosting Roots training, and their support and commitment to this effort has been extraordinary. So I do want to say a huge thank you to Kenya Airways for what they're doing as well. You know, this program, the Roots program, supports two of the U.S. government's top priorities: aviation security and wildlife conservation. And the skills imparted by Roots training will help ensure that smugglers cannot use Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and other airports to traffic illegal wildlife products. And frankly, it will help protect some of the world's great natural treasures, our wildlife. Having effective enforcement and detection in place sends a strong message to traffickers. They cannot use JKIA to do illegal business. Similar attention is needed, of course, at airports around the world, but also at ports, such as Mombasa Port. Mombasa Port does remain a significant transit point for illegally trafficked wildlife products leaving the African continent. Wildlife crime is a transnational crime. It's a transnational problem, and it requires a strong regional and transcontinental approach. We need partnership with other governments, with the private sector, civil society, everybody. And I just want to say again, Excellency, thank you to the government. Kenya, thank you to Kenya Airways. We cannot tackle this problem alone, and we're proud to partner with you in this very important effort, the effort to protect and preserve the extraordinary wildlife heritage that we all share. Pamoja tusonge mbele, asanteni sana.